Have you ever been relaxing at your favorite fishing spot? Or, far more likely, playing your favorite fishing simulator, and wondered what life would be like for the fish that you are trying to catch? What is their day like? Who are their friends? Who are their enemies? Well, besides you. And what kind of adventures do they get up to when they're not at the end of your line? Well then, I have a game for you. Finny the Fish and the Seven Waters is a sort of reverse fishing, adventure-style game, released for the PlayStation 2 in 2004 in Japan, and in 2005 in North America. The game was developed in-house by Sony Interactive, with Sony handling the Japanese publishing duties, while Natsume took on the publishing duties for North America. Natsume is best known for their work bringing the Harvest Moon series to the West, and its love for more child-friendly, cutesy releases. In this title, you assume the role of Finny, our silent Piscean protagonist. An unspecified disaster has befallen your underwater world, so you are summoned by the wise old turtle named Mr. Kappa. He informs you that you are, of course, the chosen one, and that you must enlist the aid of the Seven Water Masters to overcome the crisis of unknown origin. After a fairly comprehensive tutorial to get you acclimated to swimming and hunting, you are set loose on the Seven Waters to fulfill your mission to save the world. While going about your mission, you will encounter a variety of characters. Just a few examples are Otelia, who's an otter mom tending to her baby; Duck and Bill, a pair of merchant platypuses; Hopkins, a frog demolition expert; Albert, an old tortoise scientist; and Ariana, who is a very vain eel. The masters all possess their own master statue, which you will need to collect so Mr. Kappa can restore balance to the waters. While the masters are all keen to help you in your quest, they will ask you to perform different tasks for them first, most of which are rather simple fetch quests with some minor puzzle elements thrown in for good measure. For example, Hopkins needs you to find an old bomb and detonator so he can clear out a rock slide that is barring travel between the waters. Otelia needs you to gather herbs to help heal her sick child. And Ariana wants you to control the flow of water into her cave so it's at just the right level. Now, all this swimming around, gathering stuff, and solving puzzles can work up quite an appetite. So throughout the Seven Waters, you'll find over 100 different prey animals which you can munch on to fill your belly. Most of them require a bit of tenderizing combat to subdue them before they can be eaten. This is done through a rather simple combat mechanic of swatting your tail at them from a certain distance. Then you can bite them and thrash about to weaken them before swallowing them whole. But you need to be careful. Just because it looks like food doesn't mean that it is. You can go to chow down on what looks like a tasty bit of fish or a bug only to find out that it is, in fact, a fishing lure. Getting hooked is not game over, though. You get a chance to free yourself by snapping the fishing line. But this can be a bit harder than it seems. You need to fight against the pull of the line causing the right amount of tension, and then flick your tail at a specific time to snap it. Completing this and successfully surviving your fishing encounter awards you with the lure used to attempt to hook you in the first place. There are 100 lures total in the game, and along with the prey, they represent the collectathon element of the game. And while collecting them all is quite the accomplishment, the reward for all of your work is just some minor cosmetic changes to Finny. So unless you are a hyper-completionist, there is very little incentive to collect everything. On the other hand, there are power-ups throughout the game called scales. These are mostly hidden throughout the world, but also given as rewards for the tasks that you are sent on by the inhabitants of the Seven Waters. Collecting the various types of scales will boost your max life, stamina, and combat-related skills depending on the type of scale acquired. But let's face it, historically, underwater levels are usually the low point of any game. So what's it like when your entire game is just one huge underwater level? Surprisingly enough, the controls feel Very fluid. Pun completely intended. Movement has more of a simplified flying quality than the usual stiff and slow to respond scheme most games go with for underwater navigation. And while the control scheme itself is fairly non-standard, it only takes a few minutes to adjust to the style. And by the end of the tutorial, you'll be swimming and jumping around fairly effortlessly. While the plot is fairly shallow, pretty much just boiling down to bad thing happened, go find things to fix bad thing, and the storyline being very linear, the actual gameplay is more open. You are free to roam about the areas you've unlocked at any time for as long as you want. You can explore the expanse of the different areas that you might have missed just rushing from mission to mission, leisurely enjoying the scenery, eating some prey, or scouring around for those scales that are sometimes hidden off the main track. But aside from a few missions in particular, you never feel in a time crunch just to get to the next plot point. The exploration aspect is built into the overall enjoyment of the game, as long as you keep your belly full. While the art style is on the simplistic, cartoony style, it is beautifully done, full of vibrant colors and water effects that put some of the more mainline games of the era to shame. The different areas have just enough variety and scenery to keep you engaged without looking shockingly different from each other or completely out of place. So while its odd role reversal twist from regular fishing games sure is weird and a fairly unique concept, the lighthearted story, gorgeous environments, and solid gameplay make Finny a barrel of fish. Fun. Thanks for watching.
Hit bonus! Be careful with the tension. Oh, a big one!